Okay, so this next story culminates in April 17 through 20, but the real story starts all the way back in the summer of 2024. The summer of 2024, at the ASI convention, a man by the name of Sergio Oliveira came up to our booth. He looked at the illustration and he said, "We want a 24-foot banner of this to show at the front of our convention center for an evangelistic series happening in April of 2025 in Brazil. So it needs to be 24 foot and it needs to have the labels in Brazilian Portuguese." At the time, I did not know if we could even pull that off, because the illustration was originally designed just for 10 foot. But I said yes, because we had about 5 or 6 months to figure it out. So when I got home, the very first thing I did was I took the illustration into Photoshop, I cropped out the tiny corner and blew that up to the size it would be if we printed the whole thing at 24 foot. Took that down to the library, printed it, just to see if the detail would hold up at that massive scale. And here's what that looked like. Yeah, so as you can see, the details are really, really big when you get it up to that size. I could see that the detail pretty much held up, but not certain parts, because the people and the angels in the previous one, most of them were just little sticks with dots on the top, because so small you couldn't really tell. But at 24 foot, I knew that every detail would count. So Ellen Lee did a detail pass, all of the angels, all of the people running up the mounds, the baptism of Jesus, the manger scene, Adam and Eve in the garden, Adam and Eve in the new earth. And so we blew it up to 24 foot. I sent it to Sergio. He got it printed there in Brazil, put it onto this huge metal frame, and voila. Every single person who came through those doors saw this. Funny enough, though, it's actually not 24 foot because the frame could only take 21 foot banner. So I guess if you ordered a 24 foot, you could break the record of the largest banner we've ever done of this. So, but there was still one other thing we needed to prepare before the convention. Here's some of the stuff that had to happen. Okay, so it was going to be at the very front of this convention center. We knew that every single person who came to the evangelistic series would see this. There was no way to miss it. They expected about 3,000 people, and 3,000 people did come. It had speakers like Doug Batchelor and Stephen Bohr, and we knew that people would want to get the poster for their home. They'd be flying there from all parts of Brazil. They needed something they could buy there, put in their luggage, and fly home. And so I worked with Sergio Oliveira and Luke Dresler. So Sergio helped find the place to get all these posters printed. I was really having trouble figuring out how many posters we should print. Finally came down to deciding to print 90. And we needed someone to man the booth, so Lucas Dresler helped out with that. I meant to get him more help. He had to man the booth all by himself, which was quite hectic because I think I calculated for all 90 to sell in the time period they had for exhibit times, he'd have to sell one every 10 minutes. So he did that and he managed. With the help of also, Kid came along and helped as well. So during that 4-day event, we sold more posters than we had in the last 2.5 years combined. So now there are 90 posters translated into Brazilian Portuguese all across Brazil in people's homes and churches. God orchestrated everything, worked everything out. All of them involved, thank you so much for your help because you made that happen. God was able to bless that immensely. And now there are these stunning, attention-grabbing conversation starters all across Brazil. If you'd like one in Brazilian Portuguese, just reach out. And yeah, I can get you one. All right, that's it for part 2. Tune in next week for part 3, where I'll tell you about the very first Rebrand Prophecy Church seminar.